Hey everybody, I want to wheeze them here. It is Monday, October 21st, 2013. Finally getting picked back up on the unboxing. Got to do some battle mode last night. Recorded a couple parts of the playthrough. Not quite sure how I'm going to divide it up just yet. That said, going to go ahead, like I said, take care of the unboxings. Plan, of course. To my credit, everything would have been unboxed if not for Wave 2 coming early. That led to some other issues. But went ahead, tried to do like the high profile stuff first. Gonna go ahead, come in here, do the new landers, then step in and take care of Lightcore Grim Creeper and his regular counterpart. But what we're gonna unbox here right now is Slobber Tooth. If you recall, it sounds familiar, it's probably because you're thinking of Dark Slobber Tooth. When I unboxed the Dark Edition starter pack for the Wii U, one of the characters included, which is excluded, to the regular starter packs in any form, let alone the special, exclusive Dark Edition, would of course be Dark Slobber Tooth. Here in the US, that's exclusive to GameStop. Same across the board, Game, EB, whatever it's called in your country of origin. Roughly $100. I did use my Frito-Lay coupons there. Speaking of that, still getting questions regarding Fright Rider. There's a Halloween version of Fright Rider through Frito-Lay. I've never seen the bags. If you recall, back into Giants, I've had this problem before. I've had no issues really finding the Sidekick bags. They don't come here very soon by any means, but I've actually gotten them. SSA, I couldn't get enough bags to get all four of them. Of course, I completed the set via GameStop. The Giant Sidekicks, got lucky. I got 2 bags in San Antonio. I think maybe 3. I can't remember now. And then finally, I found 2 more here at home. I like that setup real well. You just buy the chips, you get the figure, you pay freight, you're done. These code ones are complicated because you may not win. However, for myself and many others, cannot find the bags, you can't get a code. You can't even attempt. I mean, you could do the deal where you send in for the codes. I don't mind buying the product to do that. It's actually easier and more time efficient, but if they're not going to stock it on the shelves, I can't help them out there. I say that because there's also a brand new one. It's very fitting. I know myself and many others have said this. Rattleshake, he's due for something. He's actually going to have a glow-in-the-dark, I think it's Quick Draw Rattlesnake, something along those lines. I'll get a blog post up on it here shortly for you. But it's going to be a promotion through Frito-Lay. Hadn't started that one yet, I don't believe. It could be coming anytime. Now, again, when I can't get the chips, I can't really help anyone out. So, still working on that. But that's where I was going with that. But again, GameStop, this is exclusive there, about $99. Use the Frito-Lay coupons, which is how we got off on that tangent. But in the event you don't follow on Twitter or get to see the blog, etc., now you know. And my answer to Halloween Fright Rider and any future one, I've yet to see the chips. I've seen glow-in-the-dark Cheeto bags. I've seen Frankenstein. I've never seen people tell me their stores have Dracula. I've never even seen that. I just see Frankenstein multi-packs. So if there was any sign at all of Halloween Fright Rider, I would buy it up because I really like orange and black, and I really like Fright Rider, and I really like Halloween. But as is, it didn't happen. And that said, back to what we want to talk about. Dark Slobber Tooth here is about to be joined by his regular counterpart, which is Slobber Tooth in his standard form. Again, way back in the summer, there was kind of a leak, I think, via the poster, and I said, hey, this is awesome. That's one of the videos, I guess the video that got taken down. Scorpion Slobber Tooth, really interesting to me. I've played as Slobber Tooth just with his, primary attacks. It's not what you would think. You would think initially you'd start with that tail kind of, really reminiscent of Bash, I guess, to kind of distinguish the two. His primary move is actually like a horn swipe. I'm not quite sure. I think that may actually be what it's called. But he just basically swings his head. He's hitting things with his horn. And then his secondary one is he just literally comes in and chomps down like Pac-Man. You can hold the enemies and spit them out. You can then later either upgrade down that path, or you actually upgrade a tail path. So a tail thing does come, it's just not initial, which, that's kind of what I anticipated. I thought it would be primary would be, biting. Secondary, because of the name Slobber Tooth. Secondary would be the tail. Tertiary, I thought would actually be like spitting enemies out, is kind of the opposite of that. But Slobber Tooth retail $9.99 plus tax. Again, Toys R Us, they had that great deal launch week, if you caught on to that. Slogan, Clobber and Slobber. Looks really slick in his packaging there. Again, there's the artwork up top. Coming around to the backside, you actually see Countdown. Again, I said I was interested in that guy from the beginning. Way back in the summer, I was telling the Skylanders game Twitter account he looked like a California raisin to me. And then I was getting the final countdown stuck in my head. My nephew and I actually sang that in the bat. Not really a song, just something we do. Anyway, there is his inset box art. Featured characters. Quite conveniently, promote yourself, Slobber Tooth. We got Bumble Blast, Lava Barf Eruptor, Light Core Starstrike. Again, he is regular size. He's a non-swapper. He's a Newlander to Swap Force, if you will. Series 1 to Swap, whatever you need to do to terminize him correctly. But the reason I'm telling you that, he is only compatible with Swap Force. I know a lot of people still get confused and think, okay, it's not a giant, it's not one of those magnet ones, I can take it back. No. The characters are all forward compatible, meaning Flashwing over here, Ghost Roaster from SSA, Warnado, Fright Rider, all those guys that aren't back, repos for Swap Force, will work in the Swap Force, but you can't actually take, a brand new regular size character and go backwards. So, that said, your existing slate of characters will actually work in this game. So, really menacing looking there. We're going to go ahead and crack this guy open. We'll see how this single pack is. One note, it did have that kind of reinforcement around the peg area. So, I don't know if they had a lot of trouble with that or what. He cut really well. It's really probably the best we've had one cut. We'll see how it tears now. Pretty nicely. I mean, if you are the type of person that saves that top artwork or something, that's ideally what you want to see. I mean, granted, you would prefer the paper stay, but compared to what I've had recently, I will take that and be quite content. Again, shot from behind is kind of ruined on the single packs of this size just because the cards are there. So, we will slide that out, set that down. Note, no tape on these. So we'll set that down. It is that same 45-degree part line. Just nothing hysterical happens because he's not, joined together at the seam. Came out really easy. Thank you, Slobber Tooth. Maybe he knows it's because I promote the Earth Elements as best as I can. To get that card out, what I like to do is actually bend this. I don't care about the packaging. I do care about the card not being bent any more than it has to be. Slid right out. Can't complain about that. Again, another easy unboxing, which we've had some difficult ones here, believe it or not. First thing we'll do is actually take a look at his card stats here. That's an overall look at the card. Power, 140 of 200. Armor, 120 of 200. Agility and luck, both 25 of 200. That is going to cripple this guy. As you can see, he was starting out really good, and then it kind of got not so great. But overall, that's going to be, 260 plus 50, so 310. 310 out of 800, not too shabby. Behind the card, we actually have his sticker sheet. I can't show you the web code, but you get the idea. He's got that, name tag, QR code, etc. Taking a look at Slobber Tooth here. Really nice. He's kind of got that dinosaur vibe going, really, I guess is the best way to describe it. He's got a lot of horns, a lot of armor, a lot of plating. Kind of got like a mossy green on the lower ends of his feet, almost like he came out of the swamp, or it's just scaled up, hardened. Real nice light green there. It is a different color. It's a smooth transition. I think you can see it well on the camera there. Check out the detail. This is something a lot of people take for granted. But, he's got like the warts or the scales or whatever it may be, rough spots on the underside of his skin there. The teeth, pronounced and exaggerated down through that bottom jaw. Coming around, you can see his breastplate there, kind of the armor akin to like Warnado, Dark Slobber Tooth, obviously. Backside, same thing, really nice detail on his shell or plating. Note that it also covers his neck, kind of like Bash's Triceratops Honor Guard. We've got that top horn going. These colors actually complement each other really well. I'm not sure if this is like a pewter or if it's got like a lot of green in it. It's almost like it's like a base silver, but I feel like there's a metallic green in there kind of glistening at us. Check out the detail, though, again on the tail. He's got that warded structure. That's kind of got the aged ivory look like you'd see. Very impressive. I think this does look a bit better in its natural form in the Dark Edition of Slobber Tooth. It really comes down, I mean, if you love this color scheme, you might think differently, but if I had to pick one, if these two were available on the shelf and I could only have one, disregarding any stat changes or anything, I'd have to say this one looks better, at least in my opinion. It's more natural. It's I feel, I mean, there's a reason that he wasn't this color to begin with. The dark ones are super cool. I feel the same way about the legendaries, but again, it's going to be almost impossible to top this original color scheme, at least in my mind. So, pretty happy with that, and again, very well detailed. That said, let's take a look at his background story here. Again, his slogan is Clobber and Slobber. Having been asleep for thousands of years, Slobber Tooth was awakened by the fiery eruption of two volcanic islands crashing together. Immediately sought out by Chaos to become one of his minions. That is a very interesting background there. Slobber Tooth was promised great power, but the gruff and headstrong fighter chose to follow his own path instead. For this, Chaos attacked his ancient petrified homeland. As the only one who could protect his hibernating race, Slobber Tooth fought Tooth and Tail, play on words there, and not what you'd expected given his name is Slobber Tooth. But Tooth and Tail against Chaos and his minions, ultimately driving them away. For his heroism, Master Eon asked Slobber Tooth to join the Skylanders where he could continue defending Skylands against the evil Chaos. Beautiful ending of the story, of course, as he accepted he's now a Skylander, and he's out Tooth and Tail against Chaos. So, I have played with Slobber Tooth, Dark Slobber Tooth that is, in the game. Again, like I said, I personally thought, Chomp would be primary, Tail would be secondary, as is. It's kind of the head swipe or horn swipe is primary. Secondary is the Chomp, and then eventually we can purchase what I'm assuming would be the tertiary with the Tail. So, that said, you do then wind up actually fully upgrading the Tail down one of the paths. Food Fighter, it basically upgrades his Loogie abilities. That is one that you purchase there towards the end. And then Seismic Tail looks like it's going to do some really cool stuff. Again, think along the lines of Bash. You know how powerful his tail got. His Soul Gem, I think, is an Iron Jaw. So that'll probably just make across the board, your secondary attack really, really strong or something. But that is that. That is Slobber Tooth. Again, $9.99 is a retail price. $10.99 some stores. Sometimes you can find them on sale. Do what you can to save yourself money. There's a lot of these characters. It does add up. That said, I can't stress enough, it is a good value when you consider the playtime. You've got a lot of time invested, one, in the game, two, really exponentially more than the actual story mode itself. You actually have going through, leveling the characters up, upgrading them. And again, for veterans of the series like myself, the real selling point here is, of course, A, the Swap Force characters, and then B, the Newlanders. We get some new powers, for like our Series 2 repulses with the Wow Pals. Wow Pals are changed for Series 3, but the real draw and what really keeps me interested, is, like I said, the new characters. I want to see what they're about, what they look like in hand, how they perform in the game, how they stack up against old favorites like Ghost Roaster, Warnado, etc. So that is, of course, the big deal for me. And I have to say, he looks awesome. Again, Earth Element, as you should know. There are some up there with it, but if I had to distinguish one element, I would have to say Earth is my favorite. Again, Bash is an absolute beast. Terrapin, can't go wrong with him. I really like Prism Break. I think a lot of people forget that. And then I was a big Dino Ring fan. I was hoping he would be back in Swap Force. That's not the case. We at least got Warnado, albeit light core. Then Flashwing, like her. Crusher, I thought, was a pretty unique character. And then here again, interesting thing in the Earth Element, we have no Swap Force yet, so I'm led to believe they're probably going to be pretty sweet. That would be Doomstone and Rubble Rouser. But if you recall, my most anticipated ones, when I did that ahead of time, I'd said, hey, I'm really looking forward to Scorp and Riptide. They came out in Wave 2. Might actually unbox Scorp next, just so I can have all three of these Earth guys up here for you. Countdown was on my list. I said Zulu looked neat, Riptide and Scorp though were kind of like my two big ones. That said, I have to say the detail on this guy, very, very nice. Probably why he was included in the Dark Edition starter pack. So we'll have to see how well he takes off. If you've already got Slobber Tooth, you've been playing as him, feel free to post up. Let me know what you think of the guy. I'm sure a lot of you have already gotten to the point you fully upgraded him, taking him down not one but both paths for some of you. If that's the case, feel free to post up. Try not to post any spoilers, but I mean, if you want to say, hey, that tail path is awesome, or, Food Fighter's way to go, feel free. Same thing on the blog. I'll have a link at the top of the video description. It takes you straight to this post. Can't stress that enough. oneofwisdom.com. You can find more information than you would ever want to know there. And again, something I'm doing this year with the video descriptions, I'm keeping them short and sweet. But basically, I'll say this is Slobber Tooth being unboxed, A little wordier than that, but all the details, the store, the price, what was stock like, what comes with the card, everything that you're used to seeing there, I've still got it. I'm just leaving it exclusively on the blog. I'm not sure how many people read the video descriptions anyway, so if you're curious about, man, I can't find Slobber Tooth, what does your store have? Take the blog link, I'll tell you there. But again, really cool looking character. I have played with him probably about 30 minutes or so, granted no upgrades. Does pretty good damage. I was impressed with him. I believe there was an Earth area in Chapter 1. So anyway, I'll quit rambling, but again, this is Slobber Tooth. I think he looks awesome. If you picked up the Dark Edition starter pack, you've got not one, but two. And the big draw with that, number one, if you're a collector, that's obvious. Number two, from just a casual fan standpoint, I guess not casual, but a little grade above that, you can do Food Fighter with one, Seismic Tail with the other. That's kind of the main thing. Then you don't have to buy two regular Slobber Tooths. You can kind of distinguish and know, oh yeah, I did Seismic Tail with Dark, Food Fighter here. So that said, Slobber Tooth, Earth Element, I'm excited to see how well he upgrades. I think he's going to go over pretty well with the Loogie ability. Just kind of a unique take on things. It does deal damage when you spit the enemies out as well. And then the Seismic Tail, I kind of feel like that's a bit old-fashioned. Throwback nod to the SSA days with Bash, so which, assuming it's similar, should be fine. Chase McCain is out there. Hit him. I'll try my best to remember to move him around every once in a while. Had him hidden, then I decided I'd change the backdrop, get some of these new landers out there for you to take a gander at. But he is there. If you find him, feel free to post up as well. But once again, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. That way you will stay up with all the latest. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. And as Slobber Tooth and Dark Slobber Tooth would say, clobber and slobber.